Hey everyone, my name's Gilberto and we are back with a little bit of a different video. Obviously we're just a couple days away from Sun and Moon, and the theme of the last week for me has been getting that hype up for Sun and Moon, and I wanted to share here what my Sun and Moon team will probably be like if everything goes right and I can get everything that I want. And as I mentioned, I will be playing through Sun and Moon on this channel starting on Friday with a couple episodes, and we will be going through every dang thing in the game. And so of course I'm excited for that, but there's so many new Pokemon that have been released. Now, I have not delved into any of the leaks at all really, but just through trailers and stuff, we have had so many Pokemon released, and I wanted to share just a few of my favorites and the ones that I personally want on my team. So obviously everything starts off with the starters. Apparently it's a thing now where people tend to just ditch their starters. I have generally never done that. Maybe I'm basic for doing that, but I like to stick with my starter, and especially in this gen where my favorite starter is just so good. Even if I were that guy, I could not imagine parting with my starter in this gen. My starter will absolutely be Rowlet. In my main playthrough, I'll probably rock out with Poplio in a secondary playthrough, but right now Rowlet is my guy. I love the entire line. Now, I'm not entirely sure how you would pronounce that final evolution, but I have heard A-Drive refer to it as Decidueye, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. Decidueye is just fantastic. I love its Z-move, everything about its design. From Rowlet on, I absolutely love Rowlet, and obviously we don't know anything about how good it'll be. I don't think we know anything about hidden abilities or anything like that. I mean, not like we'll probably get hidden abilities in our main playthrough, but that's going to be a consideration later on. Maybe we get an ability capsule somewhere along the line. Maybe some just happens to show up in my game. I don't know, but I am definitely incredibly hyped to use Decidueye. And I mean, obviously it's going to be weak to ice pretty badly. It's going to be weak to fire. It has some huge weaknesses, but I think the rest of my team can handle it decently well. We're going to have so much fun with Decidueye. Like I said, I love its design. I think it's going to be good. From everything that I can tell, I get the feeling it's going to be a bit bulkier, probably slightly above average speed if I had to guess, maybe base 75, 80-ish, and it'll probably have balanced offenses, fairly balanced defenses. I don't know. I see it as probably the most balanced one. I see Incineroar as the most like bulky heavy hitter, like, well, Emboar type, unfortunately, but whatever. And Primarina seems to be the most defensive, I would guess. And like I said, Decidueye seems to be the most balanced, which I am happy about ultimately, but it doesn't even matter. The design does everything for me here. I love Decidueye so much. That's going to be my starter, and I'm sticking with him through the entire LP. My next pick is actually probably going to be the next one that I am able to catch. I am gonna guess, because all the hints in Korokoro and in all the trailers and everything like that suggest that it's going to be the Zigzagoon type, the one that's on the couple starting routes, Rockruff, and it will become Lycanroc midday form. Now, I think Lycanroc midday form is fantastic, and I absolutely prefer midday form to the midnight form. I think it looks better, and everything that we've seen so far suggests that it will be the more balanced offensive one. All the vibes that I'm getting is a little bit of a glass cannon, or at the very least not terribly defensive, a well above average amount of attack, but an above average amount of speed. And from the looks of it, midnight form is going to be based on taking hits. Obviously its signature move is counter. I'm looking at Lycanroc Midday's entry on Pokemon.com right now, and it says it's known for its speedy movements that leave its opponents bewildered, and it has a signature move called Accelerock, which does seem to have priority. It does say this move is guaranteed to strike first, so it might have some crazy priority, maybe even +2, +3. That would be pretty wild. I think this thing is fantastic. I mean, I'm generally attracted more towards the faster Pokemon than the bulkier ones, but like I said, even from the design standpoint, I could not help but immediately gravitate towards midday form. I think it looks fantastic. It even has Sand Rush, and in all honesty, I'm not a fan of the way that midnight form looks at all. But moving on from there, this is a Pokemon that I was really intrigued by. This is not one that I immediately fell in love with, but it's grown on me quite a bit over time, and that's Mudsdale. Now, Mudsdale, in my mind, is where a lot of my bulk is going to come from. Just reading from the Pokemon.com entry, it says Mudsdale's running speed is not too swift, but it has excellent power and stamina. It can carry on for 3 days and 3 nights. So the idea is it's going to take a bunch of hits, but it's not going to be fast. It's going to be slow and bulky, and with a little bit of attack behind it as well. And its stamina ability, so let's see, with the stamina ability, this Pokemon's defense increases when hit by an attack. So this is going to be a physically defensive monster. And I mean, there's not much to say about this. I think its design is pretty fantastic. Like I said, I didn't immediately fall in love with it, but over time, I think it ultimately looks great. This thing weighs over a ton, and it is pure ground, which, I mean, does play into the whole ice weakness thing with Decidueye, but at the same time, its other weaknesses get helped out by Decidueye, like grass and water and those types of things. I think ultimately our team will be okay, and like I said, Mudsdale is taking hits for days, fam, for days. So we are halfway through our squad, and I mean, to be honest, our ice weakness is a little bit of an issue, but even if it wasn't, there was a certain Pokemon that I was very much drawn to as soon as I saw it. Actually, in fact, I'm drawn to both of these. If I could get both of these companion Pokemon, I absolutely would, but my next Pokemon on my copy of Sun will be Passimian. I think Passimian looks great. I think Oranguru looks great. They are both fantastic, and they both make a fantastic pair. Passimian is a fighting type, Oranguru is a normal psychic type, and if I'm being honest, I probably would have preferred Oranguru, but they're both just fantastic in my opinion. And Passimian happens to be a fighting type. I mean, it might not be as defensive as I would like, so it probably won't be a great switch in, but it will absolutely handle my ice weakness, and that is something that I sorely need. I mean, there's really not much to say about Passimian. The Pokemon.com entry does not have a ton of information about it, but there's this one line in particular that I'm so curious as to whether or not it has some kind of a function in game. Passimian wants its trainers to have the qualities of a leader as well. It watches a trainer's form closely when he or she throws Pokeballs, and it will not listen to the orders of a Pokemon trainer with poor form. I think that's hilarious. I think that's fantastic, but it is worth mentioning this final line. Passimian has a new ability, Receiver, which no other Pokemon has previously had. With the Receiver ability, this Pokemon can inherit the ability of an ally when it faints in battle, so it only works in double battle. It's going to be a non-factor in game. So Oranguru is also worth talking a little bit about. Now, this line just blows my mind, and I desperately wish that they did something with it in game. I don't know if they will, but I think it would be fantastic. All right, so Oranguru sometimes act on their own initiative and will use items that only humans normally use. From a trainer's perspective, they can be hard Pokemon to handle at times. Allegedly, there have been sightings of Oranguru using Pokeballs. I would love it if an Oranguru used a Pokeball in game. But yeah, like I said, I kind of prefer Oranguru's design. The normal psychic typing is also pretty great. I see this being a more specially defensive Pokemon, whereas Passimian would probably be more physically offensive. I don't quite know yet, but that's just going off of design. And it is worth mentioning again, Instruct is a move that only Oranguru can learn. It can make the selected target use its most recent move again immediately. I think that's fantastic. Again, it only applies in doubles and VGC and things like that, but I love it. I love everything about these companion Pokemon. So now it's time to get into the more unusual ones, in my opinion. I mean, first of all, so this next Pokemon, I don't really have a terribly good reason for picking other than I think it just looks fantastic, and it just looks like a badass, and I want it so badly. Its design just knocks it out of the park for me. It is Tapu Koko. I have no idea whether or not it's going to be good, but it is exactly what a Guardian Pokemon should look like. I mean, it is clearly the best Tapu, and it has a fantastic typing. Electric Fairy, in my opinion, is a fantastic typing. It's going to have the Electric Surge ability, which immediately brings in Electric Terrain, which will prevent anybody from falling asleep and raise the power of any electric type moves for Pokemon on the ground. And this kind of fun is worth mentioning. Tapu Koko can also learn a new move called Nature's Madness, which slams into an opponent and reduces that Pokemon's HP by half. And also, just look at Tapu Koko using a Z move. But yeah, like I said, I honestly don't even know if this thing is going to be catchable. We have no way of knowing yet until we play the damn game. But if it's not, I'll definitely be using a Alolan Raichu. Psychic Electric is a fantastic typing, and its design is great. And I mean, just how do you not love Raichu in general? Raichu is incredibly fast. Its speed doubles with its ability. I believe it under the right conditions. I think it's fantastic. And whichever one I can get on my team, they'll have an open slot. All right, my final Pokemon that I want in Pokemon Sun, if I can have them all, will be Alolan Muk. Now, first of all, I had to have an Alolan form in here somewhere. So many of the Alolan Pokemon are beautiful. beautiful, they're wonderful, but none of them speak to me in the same way that Alolan Muck does. Alolan Marowak comes really close. I love Alolan Marowak. It's probably going to be slow because regular Marowak is slow, but it has the typing of a physical Chandelure, and it just looks great. There's no doubt in my mind that it's going to be a powerhouse, and it's going to be a killer Pokemon. But Alolan Muck, how do you not love Alolan Muck? Now, if I'm being honest, I would be very surprised if Alolan Muck's stats changed drastically from regular Muck's, but Muck is fantastic. I don't mind at all. I love regular Muck. It has fantastic special defense. It is a powerhouse. It gets access to priority, gets access to curse, and it will get the new typing, which will make it immune to psychic attacks. It will have the same typing as Drapion, and we all know its only weakness is ground, and I love Drapion. Drapion is one of my favorite Pokemon as well. And I mean, hopefully you guys know, Poison is my favorite type. Poison by far in my mind is the most diverse type. It has some of the best Pokemon. Drapion, my boy Crobat, and I've always had a soft spot for Muck, but now with Alolan Muck, I have such a newfound love for Muck and Poison types in general, and I just could not love it more. Now, of course, we also have to talk about Muck being a fantastic counter for the Tapus. With that poison typing, fairies are going to be much less of an issue. With the dark typing, we have a way of dealing with psychic types, which the rest of my team really doesn't. And one of the biggest advantages in my mind to an Alolan Muck, if Muck can be a switch into ice when my team has somewhat of a clear weakness to ice types, that would be fantastic. I could use this as a pivot Pokemon to get Passimian in, and then Passimian can just destroy any ice types that need to be dealt with. So it fits perfectly into my team. It's a beautiful poison type. I love it dearly. I almost wanted Salandit. Salandit's going to be a fantastic addition, and whatever Salandit evolves into, we don't know its name yet, but I have seen its picture, unfortunately. Whatever it evolves into, it's going to be another fantastic addition to the poison family, and it can toxic any dang thing in the game. I'm so excited for poison types in 7th gen, and as a lover of poison types, I need steel types Reign of Terror to end, fam. I mean, just from what we've seen alone, Gen 7 has changed a third of my gym leader team if I were to make one, because Muck and Salandit are definitely going to be in there. I need those two in there, along with Drapion and Crobat, and I'm sure a couple others. I'd have to think of what my gym leader team would be, but it's incredibly exciting for the future. And of course, I'm just so hype about Sun and Moon. Alolan Muck was a perfect Pokemon to end on, because I am so freaking hyped now to play Sun and Moon. Hopefully you guys know, starting on Friday, there will be at least one episode of Sun and Moon. My plan is to do first episode at noon, second at 2 p.m. and we will be rolling deep with Sun and Moon content on the daily moving forward. We will play through that game. I mean, I do want to get through that game relatively quickly, but we are going to go deep into everything, and I am so excited. And I'm also excited for the GTS to come back. I'm excited to do more TCGO stuff. I'm excited to do more TCG openings. I mean, we're pretty deep into evolutions as it is, but it's only going to get crazier with the coming Sun and Moon base set in the beginning of next year. Guys, we're going to ride this hype train for a while. Please stay tuned for those things, but that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will be once again out.